So I'll just introduce, so welcome to Thursday, the 10th of December, 2020. And I'm just recording this for us so I can share that later. And Glyn was just talking about his introduction to superfoods and getting a juicer. And I guess that what immediately comes up for me is the practicalities of the superfoods that we have with Purium, is that we've got all that goodness in a scoop and all we need to do is add water. And there are some other things we can add, but what a great place to start to get all the greens that you need. And then Glyn shared that, you know, spirulina, blue-green algae, wheatgrass, we're talking about the green superfoods, which is the kind of cornerstone of what we've got with the Purium range. So Glyn, over to you. Anything else that you were doing at the similar time, and what did you notice? What kept you with superfoods?
Well, I suppose I was fairly young then, so I was full of energy anyway. So it's just a boost with, you know, my lifestyle back then. But in more recent years, it's been around things like cacao, maca, ashwagandha, and yeah, just as much as I can get. And actually, since finding Purium, I feel that I can sort of relax a bit, because all that side of things are taken care of, such as the quality, I feel.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? I mean, a lot of that. I mean, it's very much it is the optimum fast food, because you don't have to kind of fuss with hours of juicing or wonder if you're getting the right proportions of stuff, because it's all there. So yeah, that's something that I really love and appreciate. I know I can have 2 scoops and tick a lot of boxes. Brilliant. Michael, I'm going to go straight over to you. What got you into superfoods, and what did you first notice?
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Exactly.
So nice to feel this European feel. You got such great energy, and just, it's really nice. Really appreciate you all so much. Well, you know, I started out on my stepfather used to read a book when I was in high school by a lady by the name of Adele Davis. Mm-hmm. And Adele Davis, she wrote one of the first vitamin books in America. So my stepfather got into vitamins, and you know, I started learning about the vitamin concept, the isolated chemicals that they are, but I got into them because it made sense. And then when I got back from Vietnam and I saw all these folks for a year in Vietnam, I didn't see one person overweight in a year of serving in Vietnam. And I thought, man, these people, they're doing something right in the way they eat. So I got back, when I got back out of the Army, I started eating more vegetables all the time. And then I moved to California to be an actor. And I was about 24, 23. And I started studying American herbs, all these American type herbs that are grown here. I read a book by a guy named Jethro Kloss called Back to Eden. And it was about he was a doctor that would go to people's houses in the 1800s and take all sorts of remedies of American herbal formulas. And so I really got into that, and I studied that for quite a while. And then I got introduced to Chinese herbs. And I got involved with Chinese herbs for about 10 years, deep into Chinese herbs. And I ate probably more Chinese herbs than probably most Chinese people that ever lived, because man, I got into them. And I like that. And then I got introduced to the herbs from the Amazon rainforest about 10 years later. And I absorbed all that and went to the Amazon and really got into the herbs from the Amazon rainforest and helped work with the indigenous tribes to save the forest and to save the land down there sustainably, we brought out about 50 different of the most unique herbal formulas that had never been touched by man. and we worked with this tribe called the Shipibo Canibo tribe, which was all over. They're mostly in Peru, and so that was an amazing experience to be in the Amazon and see these trees. There would be a tree that could have mold on it, and right next to it would be all these healthy plants, and the mold wouldn't even affect them because they were because they grew up there and they learned to deal with each other. These trees were anti-mold and antifungal, while the other trees were full of mold, and they were right next to each other. So all these different ideas about nutrition. So I ate so from American herbs from Vietnamese style of eating to American herbs to Chinese herbs to herbs from the Amazon. And I loved what Glenn just said. Glenn put it all in one good sentence. He said, when I started eating Purium, I could relax a bit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
what.
what.
That too. That was great. Same.
I don't know if there is a better way to say about Purium that when the longer you eat it, the more you relax a bit, because it just satisfies you. And I've been through a lot of different nutritional paths. I became a vegan in 1975. When I married my wife, I started eating fish and chicken again back in 97. And I haven't had I haven't had a piece of pork, beef, hamburger, bacon since 1975. So I'm really not into that. However, I'm not one of these people that say, "Oh, become a vegetarian," because I think you've got to find that protein. And I never knew the kind of protein that you could get until I started doing the MAP, and that changed my life. And so coming to to Purium after all those years, I've been fed better than I've ever been fed in my life. And here I am, 72 years of age, and I practice the piano for 2 hours every day. I'm on the phone, I'm working, I'm busy, I'm rebounding, just enjoying life with Lucy and I. And all because I started out on that daily max that you guys have over there. I mean, that's what I started on, because they were talking about this 10-day transformation and losing weight and all this. And I'm going, holy mackerel. I didn't have a real sponsor to teach me anything when I started 7.5 years ago, when we started. So I went, man, this sounds like too good to be true. People are losing weight like this. So it was a little overwhelming to me. And being that I know the industry, I thought it maybe was a little bit too many buzzwords. And then, so I got into that core, it was before they called it a core 3. It was just a daily, I thought it was the daily maintenance pack. And that was the pack they offered for us to start then. Much better packs now for people. But I started on that. And about day 7, I went into doing everything twice a day. And I noticed, yeah, man, twice a day felt good. And then by day 10, I went down, and the company's only 20 miles from our house. So I went down and picked up a 10-day and started on a complete 10-day. And I did that for 10 days. And then when that was over, I dropped 10 pounds, inches around the waist, had more energy, changed my life. And I have been then I went right back on the Daily Max. And every month I started adding 1 or 2 or 3 products. And I tell you what, I've got a shelf of products downstairs. It's my smorgasbord of vegan nutrition that Purium provides. And I got to tell y'all, it's been 7.5 years. And the energy, the enthusiasm, the vitality, life, anything can happen in life. But I tell you what, I'm enjoying the quality, because at 65, when I started these, I was starting to feel like I was going downhill. I couldn't keep up with the energy I needed with the normal digestive work of digesting food. So I'm just so grateful. But I can tell you that Daily Max you've got, and the 10-day, and all the other packs that you've got. I was looking at your whole price sheet this morning, and my God, you can get a reset pack for, I think it's like 90 euros. You know, it's like 142 euros for a pack. You can get it for 92 with that 50 euro gift card. I would highly recommend that this holiday season, you look at all those products that you can package yourself. The 10 days great. The Daily Max is great. I mean, you can get that, but if somebody says it's out of my budget, there are products you can put together where they can get for 80, 2 or 3 products for 80 or 90, 100 euro, and an experienced Purium. And then they build that relationship with you. And now they're ready to order again, because it's all about trust. You know, it's just trust. Can people trust us? Because they hear it all. I mean, here in the States, we got so doggone many network marketing companies. They got the one pill wonder, you know, they got the one, take this pill and you'll never be the same the rest of your life. And I go, well, you know, I've been eating food for 70 years and eating really, I mean, the stuff from the Amazon rainforest is some of the most potent stuff you'll ever find in your life. But here we go. I did that company for years. And then I have a company 20 miles down the street from my house for 25 years that's been making organic superfood, company called Purium. And when I found out about them, I love the simple commitment to just real food. And with the way we process it and the way we grow them, your body feels it. So there's not a doubt in my mind of what we have at Purium. So I'll just I'll just say that these foods are remarkable. And people say to me, you talk too much about the foods. And I go, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't when 95% of the companies in the world want to poison our people? And we want to revitalize our people, you know? So it's just a blessing. It's a blessing all the way around. Anyway, that's my story.
That's fantastic. You touched into a lot of like really great things there. And just for any of you that are new to the products, Wendy in particular, we have a signature product in UK, Europe, which is the 10-day cleanse. But we have lots of other grouped products. So the Daily Max is 3 of the products from the 10-day cleanse. And that's something that Liz might be great for you to go on to. So it's what I've done today, which is I have had a shake and I've had 4 of the master aminos. And at bedtime, I'll have some apothecary. And that is the Daily Max. And so that's giving me lots of green superfood nutrients. It's giving me the product, which in America is called Super Aminos 23, but we call Master Amino Acid Pattern. That is helping. I have a tendency to a low thyroid, and the thyroid metabolizes protein. So for me, having a little bit of the MAP every day helps my body metabolize protein. So it's a plant-sourced, pre-digested, vegan protein, and amino acids are proteins. And for me, that's made a tremendous difference. So like Michael, it's like these are part of what I do every day. And then every so often, I might do a 10-day cleanse to really kind of clear out the kind of 20th and 21st century junk, 20th century junk that's still sticking around, and 21st century junk that I acquire. And that could be stress. You know, stress creates is free radicals and destroys cells, you know, if we're not careful. So you know, something like the 10-day cleanse once or twice a year is a nice opportunity to have a clear out for me. Any collected junk from the environment, just I can clear it out. You know, it's very hard to eat a completely organic diet. And if it's not organic, chances are there's pesticides and glyphosates involved. So there's lots of superfoods that we've got that we can add into the mix to help deal with those. So the absolute basic, I'm just going to go back to Michael because he's waved.
Well, I just wanted to say, like today, for example, my wife, Lucy, she started on a 30-day cleanse with, they put it on Facebook and all these people respond because people they want to, and here we are during a pandemic in the house she's got all these gals that are on there, you know, doing I'm not a big Facebook person, but she does all that stuff. And they started on a 30-day, hey, Ezra, they started on a 30-day about 10 days ago. Now they're starting the 10-day today. And now I kind of do this foods every day and I eat really organic, good food. So I'm not doing the 10-day traditionally. but I practically do it almost every day. But the bottom line is they're really doing it for 10 days. Now, all these gals, we have a lady I just got off the phone with out in the Valley. Her father was from Europe, her mother's Latin. And, you know, I had never talked to her on the phone, but she sent me a link and she said, "Hi, this is such and such, such and such." And I said, "I don't recognize your name. Is this the Latin lady that I met when they came over the house a couple of months ago to pick up some product?" And yes. I said, "Oh," because she had a name that's like, she's like Polish. And so it didn't jive to me. So we started talking, and here's a lady, 53 years old. She was the boss of my nephews at a restaurant he worked at before the pandemic. And she can hardly walk at 53. A beautiful woman in health. I mean, she could be healthy. She's got a great personality. And I said to her, "So Lucy, so we've been talking to her, and she finally started the 30-day 10 days ago. And you should hear her. I mean, she's 53 and she was barely walking because of all this fast food and crap that she eats, you know, and doesn't pay attention to the salads and the vegetables. Well, here she is 10 days in this, and she's like, my God, she's on Facebook saying, "I can't believe it. I'm walking this kink I had I felt so bad." And so long story short, now she's going to do this 10-day. I can tell you right now, by January the 1st, she will be a new woman with a new lease on life. And I know that. And so that's why I love Purium.
Yeah.
Because we can get right to the bottom line. And, that daily max you got over there, and maybe, the 10-day, whatever, just eat these foods and don't be shy. Because 3 months from now, your body is going to tell you. I don't care how old you are, what your situation is, give your body a chance to regenerate with real food. Because when you don't get those chemicals and pesticides and herbicides and fillers and binders and all the processed ingredients and the GMOs, when you don't get that, your body starts gradually saying, "I've got more energy to do other things. I'm not wasting my energy getting this stuff out of this system that Michael puts in all this crap Michael puts in. I don't see it anymore." Now, all of a sudden, your brain gets stronger, your energy your creativity goes up, and your love for people expands because you've got the energy and the joy. It's just a remarkable situation.
Yeah, it is. And you reminded me when you talked about the reset pack. I have a friend, I've just got onto the reset pack. She's done the cleanse a few years ago, and I remember what she said, but she doesn't have the strongest will. So she doesn't remember what she said, but she's just got onto the reset pack. She's had, and this goes back a long way, she's had 2 knee replacements. And she hadn't really talked about the fact that her right knee was really hurting her. She's been on the reset pack, which is the Hippocrates power shake, and the caramel apple fiber blend. And she's been on that for 5 days. The pain's gone in her right knee, and she's lost 5 pounds already. And she's over the moon. That's not even doing the 10-day cleanse. And she does need to lose weight. And she's, I was just like, wow, that's amazing. Her pain has gone. It was all inflammation. And let's see where she is in the next 5 days, exactly as Michael said. So the reset pack is 2 products that go together, and is a really neat pack. And what you get from that combination is you get the body regulating its adiponectin more efficiently. Adiponectin it's a fat storing hormone. So it's not the fat burning hormone, which is leptin. It's more of a fat storing hormone. So it switches on the capacity to store fat, particularly under stress. So great pack to encourage people to lose weight, particularly if they want to do it beyond the cleanse. They've done the 10-day cleanse and then they want to continue to lose the weight, because you're not going to lose everything you want to lose if you've got a lot of weight to lose in the 10 days. You can shift up to 20 pounds. You may only shift, 5 pounds. It depends on where you're at, and a couple of other health things that can sit behind weight issues. But, my friend is having an amazing time, it's phenomenal. So I'm going to go over to you, Sean, and ask you, because it may not be the foods we've talked about, but what was your first kind of foray into superfoods?
So I actually first tried the Love Superfood, and what I did, I was replacing my dinner with this shake, and then I bought the caramel fiber blend, and I've mixed that together, and of course together with the barley grass. So that was for me perfect to start losing weight slowly and very effectively. And right after, I mean, I've done the 10-day cleanse only, I think after 2 months of doing that. But yes, I did lose about 6-7 kilos.
Great, fantastic.
So that was brilliant. Yeah, I loved it.
It was really good. And you didn't put it all back on with birthday cake yesterday or the day before?
I didn't, because there's just, I don't know, my body kind of changed a little bit, because every time let's say I eat whatever I want, it kind of, my body tells me when to stop. So it's different, yeah, which is interesting.
It's fantastic, isn't it? To create a smarter body. I think lots and lots of people come off the 10-day cleanse in particular and say, I've got a different relationship with sugar. I've got a different relationship with coffee. I can say no to cakes. It's really incredible. So the green foods have a great capacity to defeat sweet cravings. So if somebody has sweet cravings, just eat more green foods. And of course, 2 scoops of Hippocrates Power Shake, we have that. That's fantastic. Thank you, Sean. Louis, I'm going to ask you, we're just, welcome. We're just talking about what superfoods we had first in our life. It doesn't have to be necessarily Purium, but what, I don't know, what did you get into? What age were you when you first got into superfoods?
Good. It's a good question. I was thinking about it when you were talking. Probably about 10, 15 years ago, maybe. Just these foods kind of appear on shelves in supermarkets, and you get a basic understanding of them. But I think it was, for me, it was when I met Troy and Andy in London, and I had he gave us a challenge to do the 10-day. I think it wasn't the 10-day ultimate lifestyle. It was the gym. It was the one where you could train at the same time. Which one's that?
Athlete's transformation.
Athlete's cleanse.
Athlete's transformation. Yeah.
Yeah, and since then I've just been into it, and stuck closely to Troy and Andy, and obviously you guys this year particularly, and haven't really looked back because the quality is immense. I don't really need to say too much because you've probably said it all already, Michael.
Were you at Troy's talks in London, or what did you?
The London one, yeah. And then I went to Cardiff. I think it was a couple of weeks later.
Yeah. So you must have been at the talks that I organised in London. There was one in Neal's Yard and one in a cafe north of Oxford Street. Because I did
that one. It was in somebody's basement. I was expecting some sort of big grand arena.
I think that was the year before.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, that was in Kentish Town. That was in the osteopath's clinic.
Yeah, I can't remember.
That's when I first met Troy as well. Brilliant, great. Excellent. That's really cool. Thank you. Marcus, what was your first intro? Welcome. Now I can see you. That plant, your hair looks like it's come out like that.
I've been busy times recently, but
I know. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I've always thought I've been quite healthy. I've been busy playing tennis and doing the gym and stuff. But a few years ago, I bought a juicer and I was doing kind of like carrot, ginger. I was juicing bits up, but it was not organic, and so I really didn't have much of a clue. I bought some spirulina and some chlorella powder from a shop once, like a health store. That's probably about 3 years ago. So really, my experience of superfoods properly has been platinum, purium. So yeah, it's phenomenal. Really, my life has literally been transforming the last year or so. You know, hence the hair as well. So gearing up for this new world we're ascending into. You know, got some good times ahead.
100%. And you dived, you know, Marcus dived straight in, which is always amazing when someone does this, dive straight in with the 40-day transformation. Well, 40-day challenge it was called, wasn't it? Which was originally in the States, and now the States have the 30-day ultimate, but ultimate lifestyle. But nearly 2 years ago, isn't it? Beginning of 2019.
No, I did the cleanse at the beginning of this year, February. So
beginning of this year. God.
Yeah. And I'm coming up to a whole year of the products, and I think that it's good because I'm having a lot to say about it when I speak to people. You know, from my experience, I'm sort of building up my case, my kind of platinum identity, you could say. You know? So it's good. Yeah.
Great identity to have. I love it.
Yeah, it's you know, I'm on my shake today. I'm having it now, but I get a little bowl, and every morning I just take out, you know, 6 of this, 6 of that. You know, I've just put it all in there. But it's just having a bit of gut harmony the last few days as well. You know, so I'm just constantly on it, and just it's good. It's great. It's turning into my primary source of nutrition now. I just stock up on a little bit of farmers market food in the fridge, and I'll have a bit of that, but I'm not really desiring too much these days. The occasional red wine. I do go organic though, and but yeah.
Nice. Thank you. Ezra, do you want to dive in with what superfoods you got into? Like, was it just at the Purium point, or did you get into superfoods previously?
No, 10 years ago, during my depression, when holistic health came on my path, and then for the first time I began to realize how important food is, and that for all my life till age 32, I ate crap, and only crap, sugar, dairy, gluten, everything. And yeah, then my journey began, and I began to explore. And so I got some wheatgrass, but pure wheatgrass or spirulina, but not from the highest quality, I guess, because when I did the 10-day cleanse this year, it was really mind-blowing. After 10 years of mainly eating bio-organic, because we have a supermarket here, a biodynamic supermarket. So most of my food is Demeter quality. But still, I had some ailments, and not only high energy, my emotions were mastering my myself. And since I'm doing this stuff daily, it completely changed everything. So I'm really thankful that it came on my path, that Troy posted a message if I want to do healthy business with him. I met Andy, I met you guys. So yeah, that is my journey into superfoods, and also things like curcuma of turmeric, ginger. But for me also, I began to realize that kale and biodynamic vegetables are also superfoods. But yeah.
I think it's really interesting with you, Ezra, because you come from a professional athlete background, you know, and to have been a professional athlete on crap, because you're young, you can get away with it. and then, you know, you start to get into superfoods, and then you get into quality superfoods, and you realize the difference, don't you? You know, I only ever started with something really good.
Funny and amazing that even now, pro athletes don't eat healthy foods and I still think it's really weird. But like you said, I could do those high performance still with that. But if I had these things, I will think that the outcome was a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I have a client who used to weight lift. She's 58, I think. She's had her thymus gland removed and most of her thyroid removed. So she's on medication, and she got onto literally essential fatty acids and the ionic elements and homeopathic remedies. And the ionic elements have been phenomenal for her. She now lifts weights like she used to in her 20s. She's losing weight slowly over time, you know, and really almost back to her ideal weight. For somebody who's 58 anyway, to lift weights like they did in their 20s is phenomenal. But without a thymus gland and with virtually no thyroid, it's like, it's beyond the scale, you know. So this is what happens when you don't just get superfoods into your life, but you get quality superfoods in your life with, as Michael said, relatively low processing, you know, the least we can. And we put together formulas from all over the world to create something dynamic for specific situations, you know. So we have a lot for athletes in the range, it's really quite interesting when you get someone who has the history of athletic performance behind them and get them onto these superfoods. So I wanted to ask you, Yuki, because you're somebody I know well, and so I'm glad you're on video and we've got you and the builders have moved out.
I have to go if these people call me.
No worries. I just wanted to ask you, because you've taken, you know, supplements over the years for various things. And so you have a good feel for what the different supplements make in your life. And I wondered what your sense was around the Purium superfoods, having added that in and done things like the cleanse.
Yeah, it does still feel quite new to me, but I guess I was trying to think back, you know, when you asked the question about when did you first try superfood stuff, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can actually remember. Like, it's sort of 15 years, or like I remember like when I was in my final year at uni getting really into juicing and being told by these medical students that I should, like, I'm not getting enough protein, and I was just sort of like on my juicing thing. I didn't care, like, what, you know, I probably should have been a bit more careful about the balance of nutrients and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely, you know, it has been a long journey, and I feel like as time goes on, I feel more tuned into what my body needs, and like noticing the sort of kind of vibrational quality of things. I can feel that, and I do feel that with these products that it just feels like I can feel that quality. I can feel I mean, it just, the vibrational frequency of it feels good. And obviously I did do the 10-day cleanse and had immediate benefits with that, and then didn't want to stop, and that's kind of weird. I did sort of like, I have, like, to be honest with you, like, I am still exploring this, and I'm trying lots of different products. I'm like really into the Can't Beat This one, although I've just ran out of it, and I thought I'd reordered some, but I haven't. But I was getting into that recently because I was going to do the athlete's transformation, and I was just kind of playing with different ingredients. And I was actually just talking to one of these film people downstairs about the Can't Beat This, and she's like a coffee addict, and I was just sort of telling her about that. But yeah, what was I going to say? That I kind of like, because they feel so good, it has made me think, what are they putting in these? Are they putting something in that makes you just want more? Like, what is that? Why does it feel so good? Is there some kind of addictive thing they're putting in that makes you just want to keep having more of their products? Honestly, I felt a bit suspicious at times. What?
I I got to the day 8 on my cleanse and I was just like, are we meant to feel like this all of the time? That's
Yeah.
my thing, you know. And I was just walking down the road like I'd had a healing session, and I was like, just superfoods, you know. And it's really bizarre. I mean, have we sort of like sloughed ourselves into a place where we feel awful? And, you know, now we've got these incredible sort of resources to get us out of that pit, you know. I don't know, but yeah, I agree. I read the ingredients label, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah, and it's like food, you know, normal food. You can tell the difference between like a packaged supermarket, like non-organic thing, and something fresh, like in the farmer's market that's organic and like well taken care of, well grown with people that love what they're doing. You know, you can feel the difference in that in the same sort of way. Like I've tried, you know, as I was trying maca and spirulina and this and that and the other and different things, and I couldn't quite like, it's like I'm paying all this money for these products and like, is it actually working? Like I've had that feeling like with a lot of things that I've tried for stuff with hormone things and women's health issues and different reasons that I've tried different things, and I've never really had this feeling of like, oh, this is actually working. You know, and I do feel like with these products I have that feeling, but I'm still keeping an open mind because I'm still exploring some of them, and but so far so good, definitely.
Yeah, I've been taking things for so long that I kind of wonder what it would be like not to take them. I just don't know. So thanks for that. It's really astute. Liz, I wanted to ask you any questions out of what we've talked about today. I'm happy to do a session with you and Glyn, you know, more specific things, but anything you wanted to ask on the back of what we've been talking about?
Well, having just done a cleanse, I think I stopped maybe about 10 days ago. I have to say I didn't do it without having some food, because we were going into winter. I'm not a very good sleeper, and if I go to bed hungry, it's just not, it doesn't work for me. But I had a couple of days where I just couldn't believe how I felt, and I couldn't imagine that, you know, you could carry on with that sort of energy, because I struggle with energy and hot flushes. Like I get these hot flushes and they just suck. They suck energy. I've been having them for like 20 years. So, you know, maybe we can have a, you know, more of a specific around that. But it is, since I finished the cleanse, I'm continuing. I still have the greens because I was only taking 2 a day. So I still have some greens, that's getting low, and the other supplements. And what I'm finding is that, again, it's winter, and sometimes when I haven't slept well, my energy levels aren't as I'd like them to be. And I find myself trying to make that up with food. And then I'll just have a green drink, and I can feel it just sort of balancing me out again. Whereas I might have then gone for something else to try, and I've more or less, I mean, sugar, it's an undulating thing. I've had candida in my life, so I have to be really aware of that. And also alkalinity, because I was diagnosed with osteoporosis. So I've been very aware of that. And with all the superfood stuff that everyone's talked about, I've just stabbed at it because I've been interested. When I was at 18, 50 years ago, I worked in the first macrobiotic restaurant in London, because I just had this sense that that was, you know, vital. And it's been such a roller coaster, and stabbed at different diets and high protein and then, you know, I saw Glyn's post on Facebook, and knowing Glyn enough to know that he wouldn't be saying what he was saying if it wasn't a real experience for him. And at this stage of life, you know, hearing Michael's great stories, I don't accept that I can't, you know, vibrate with life and continue this feeling of thriving and also actually expand into more strength, more capacity. You know, sometimes I feel like, oh, maybe you should just accept, but I can't. It's too precious. It's too precious. It's too short. I'm too far up that end to not hold that as, you know, a possibility. And I have to say, it's just great to see you guys, you know, your energy, your exuberance and positivity at this time, you know, with everything else that's going on. It's a joy.
That's lovely. Thank you.
There's not
so
a question,
much.
was there? It's
Yeah.
I just want to kind of there's a few things. There are a few questions, but maybe that would be better, you know, if we can at some point.
Thank you. I feel really wowed by what you've just said. That's really humbling. I can tell everyone else does. It's amazing what we can feel in the Zoom space, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's really, really great. And yeah, you know, we've been meeting since the beginning of lockdown, really, because that's the best way to meet when, you know, Zoom's the best way to meet when we can't meet for real. And it's been a phenomenal, you know, vibrant space for sharing a lot of incredible information and stories. Yeah, it's really lovely. Wendy, do you have any experience of superfoods? But like, have you, because you're in touch with Troy, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. I met Roy. I met Troy at Rhythmia in Costa Rica. Did plant medicine. But no, I've known about alkalizing and plant-based foods for quite a long time. Training as a homeopath. There was a guy who he got heavily into alkalizing. His name's John Gejescu. I don't know if you know him, Caroline.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, so he does a lot of alkalizing, and I've helped him on one of his courses, making the food. So I've known about it and used it. Got a fab water filter, so you know I know about good clean water as well. But yeah, Troy talked about these products and what he does back in Rhythmia. So it's taken me a little while because I've been moving about a bit. So yes, I'm really fascinated by the products, and it's great listening to everybody's stories, and it sounds fantastic, you know, because over the years I've come across many various products and tried them and hasn't really done a lot, but I eat a pretty clean diet anyway, and I've grown my own organic veg for a good 10 years. But yeah, I wanted something on top of that. Plus for clients is something to recommend to clients, actually.
Great, thanks. It's a really big part of what I do with my clients, for sure. And every year what I do is as I say, I don't just cleanse for myself a couple of times, but I run like a group cleanse, and Ezra's really into this as well. I don't know if anyone else is thinking about that for January, but it's just a really great thing to be working towards now. We're mid-December, to be thinking that come the 1st of January, everybody is going to be talking about how to get healthy. They're not necessarily talking about wanting to lose weight. I reckon this year people are going to be talking about, they're just going to want to feel good after all this that we've been through. So, you know, keep that in mind. Anything else anyone wants to throw into the pot before we finish? Because I feel like that's been a real like feel good session for me. It's like it's really great to hear how everybody got into this, because we can make a lot of assumptions, you know. And I know I've totally loved listening to you the other week, Michael. But anything anyone wants to throw into the superfood stock pot before the end of the night?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something, if that's okay. Yeah. One area of food I've been sort of interested in is wild, excuse me, wild forage food. And this has a certain vibration to it as well, which is pretty decent. So as a superfood, could be nettles, dandelions. So yeah, really into that.
Yeah, do you know, I would totally add that into the pot as well. If I was to talk about early superfoods, I guess it's scrumping. Does anyone not know what scrumping is? You got to put your hand up. Okay, there's a couple of English people that don't know what scrumping is. Scrumping is kind of is foraging really, but it might verge into. I definitely wouldn't verge into someone's allotment, but it might verge into somebody's back garden for the odd apple or something like that. So basically, scrumping is gathering food on your journey through life, and so they're everything from black currants and blackberries, you know, onwards. So yeah, I would say foraging is akin to superfoods, you know, and wild collected herbs, because you're looking at something growing in its optimum place as well. You know, if a bramble bush just grows, it's growing in its optimum place. It hasn't been forced to grow by somebody else. You know, if you find a patch of plantains because you want to make an ointment out of it to get rid of your fungal toenails, you know, you're going to be looking for a patch that's not right next to the road. And right next to the road, it will be small and shriveled, and then you go into the middle of the field and there's the plants that you want. You know, so scrumping and foraging is all about asking nature to guide you to its riches, to what you need to be healed. And the more time you spend with superfoods, the more you are drawn to foods in the same way. So a couple of us have already said that, that we are, you know, Marcus very much so, guided to go, well, I think I'm going to take this one this month, you know, and I walk past stuff in the supermarket or the health stores now, and I just know whether something's good or not. You know, and the vast majority of the stuff on the shelves in the store is got chemicals, fillers, binders, etc. in it. And you will, after a period of time, you will know whether something is good quality or not, in exactly the same way as you do when you go out into a field and you move into the middle of the field or the hedges, the edges, because that's where the nutrient dense places are, you know. So remember that when you're out and about, that a plant is only growing there because it can, and then look at how well it actually grows in that space. And that's exactly what we do with the superfoods. So yeah, cool session. So let's finish there, and we're just going to do something that, oh, go on, Michael, shout up. Yep. You need to unmute.
Just in reference to Liz, Liz, how long have you been eating Purium?
I just started with the cleanse like over 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wow. Lucky girl. You're so lucky. You're just so lucky. Yeah. So all I'll tell you is this. Don't be shy. Look at that list of products. Talk with Caroline, all your team, and just absorb yourself. When you're hungry, have another shake. When you want, drop a few more aminos. Do them twice a day. These are maintenance foods. You hear a lot about weight loss because weight, you know, in America, 90% of the people you see are heavily overweight over here. And that's why weight loss is such a big word, and because it causes so many diseases. But a healthy woman like yourself, you just want to feed your body. So just look at every product as a smorgasbord of nutrients and just play with them and have fun with them. And don't be shy, you know. I mean, make yourself a great organic salad and whatever else you eat, and then have another shake. Even if you put a tablespoon of whatever powders we've got, I made a drink this morning where I put a teaspoon of cocoa hydrate. I put a teaspoon of Can't Beat This. I put 3 teaspoons of Hippocrates plain, and I put 2 teaspoons of the Love Super Meal, and 30 drops of the ionic elements. Put some great water in there, shook it up. It's in the refrigerator chilling right now. And I've got my aminos I did this morning, my 5 aminos, my 2 super xanthan. So play with it. It's food that's designed to play with as a smorgasbord for your health. And I can tell you, 3 weeks into this, and I've been into nutrition. I've been turning people on to nutrition products for now 35 years. 3 weeks into this, I knew it was good, but I really didn't know how good. Mm-hmm. And by the 3rd, 4th, 5th month, when the craving stopped for everything, when you'll notice maybe some of those flashes start descending and certain energies coming more alive in you, listen, it takes a while to regenerate. But if you got those simple foods, just stay with it, because your chi is incredible. You have such strong chi. So you're there. All you got to do is really re-nourish, because we spent many years not nourishing, and being that you were in microbiotic, you're so far ahead of the game. I just want to read this. I heard Glenn say, I love quotes from people. Glenn said, when he started Purium, it was a good time to relax a bit. Loved it. Caroline said, she's creating a smarter body. I love that. Marcus said, I'm developing my platinum identity. I love that. Great. And Yuki said, I can feel that quality. And then Liz said, continue the feeling of thriving. Mm-hmm. So beautiful. And I tell you, Caroline, you're so, the humbleness and the way you lead the call, you're such a great leader and a beautiful soul. So it's great to be here with you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Okay.
And in closing, one other thing I'm going to say, Dave and Amy are just like us.
Yeah.
They're friends of mine. I've been close to them since the day I started this deal. I'm not, we don't hang out, but we talk on the phone. We see each other on occasion before the pandemic, but I'll just say this, their DNA about superfood, about feeling good, about caring for people is just like ours. And that's why we have such a great company, because they're not like faking it. They're not trying to put on some airs. They're just 2 great, simple people that started this deal. And all of you, the experience of all of you is so intense and so amazing. So it's great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Right. If you all unmic and we just say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Great to see you.
Yes.
And same time, same place next week. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Have a great week, y'all.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Same.